A meeting between these four opposition leaders on one side, Quad leader Raila Odinga, co-principals Kalonzo Musyoka and Moses Wetangula, and NARC Kenya's Martha Karua, and US President Barack Obama on the other, would see the US President take a swipe at them over doublespeak.
We have a legally elected government, and we're going to work with that government. It was funny, though, that one of the opposition leaders, I won't mention who, was saying, you know, we really need you to press the Kenyan government on some issues. And I had to say to him, I said, I remember when you were in government, you kept on saying, are you trying to interfere with Kenya's business? You should mind your own business. So everybody wants the United States to be very involved when they're not in power, and when they're in power, they want the United States to mind their own business.
But the four quickly downplayed that statement.
So it doesn't matter what was said by who or by what. We went as a delegation, we owned that space and that conversation. And therefore his response to whatever he responded to, we took it in our stride and we respect that opinion.
I'm told it was with a very light touch, but we can understand why some people may want to talk about tongue lashing. You had me say there was no such thing. And these are serious people.
All four of them have taken a stab at the United States government's alleged interference in Kenyan affairs when they served in government. When Wetangula was Foreign Affairs Minister in 2009, he lashed out at former U.S. Ambassador to Kenya Michael Runneberger and Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs Johnny Carson over denial of U.S. visas to senior government officials suspected of corruption.
The meddlesome attitude that we are seeing from our friends, the Americans. It is with regret that an assistant minister of a friendly country walks into our country uninvited, makes fairly unacceptable and reckless statements, and then leaves.
When Odinga was Prime Minister back in 2010, he took a swipe at the former U.S. Ambassador Michael Runneberger just a few days before the arrival of the then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for an AGOA conference. Runneberger had pressured leaders to implement agreements signed during the formation of the coalition government in 2008.
Lectures on how we are going to be able to trade with the rest of the world than how we are going to govern ourselves. Because it is possible for us to trade with ourselves.
The Quad leader had also criticized Runneberger after WikiLeaks made public embarrassing cables containing the ambassador's assessment of the then government and several leaders.
Basically, gossip between diplomats and their masters back at home.
And at the 2010 Jamhuri Day celebrations,
wageni waheshimu wa Kenya kama watu ambao wako huru. Hatutaki mgeni aje katika nchi yetu ajifanye kama ni governor.
Kenya istahili heshima, sio tu kutoka kwetu sisi wananchi wa Kenya, ambao ni jukumu letu mwanzo kabisa kuhakikisha kwamba tunaikuza nchi yetu, bali pia kutoka kwa wageni.
Karua's tenure at the Justice Ministry also had her taking on the West, particularly warning diplomats against threats to Kenya. This after the then British High Commissioner Adam Wood's remarks that his government did not recognize the then regime.
And as for the diplomats threatening us, I'll remind them we are not a colony. And I don't think my team will take pressure or dictation from any other country.
The Quad leaders now find themselves in a tight spot over their moral authority to ask Western powers to pressure Jubilee. Jackie Maribe, Monday Special.